What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday, May 19th. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios. If you're up and at it, thanks for making us a part of your start, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com, WYYradio.com. You've got the app, download it, take it on the go. Your Alexa devices or smart devices, smart speakers, and of course the video stream up and rolling on YouTube, Man Cave TV. Multiple ways for you to be joining or tuning in, and you can join in on the conversation a couple different ways. You got that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Also, you can hit us up on the Section 105 chat room on Man Cave TV. Brew Crew picking up a W for game one of this three-game series with the Chicago Cubs. And the Brewers chasing Imanaga, giving him his fourth loss, putting 8 earned runs on him last night, and a couple of home runs. Yelich off the scoreboard with his dinger in the second inning to get his third home run on the season. Jake Bauers, his team-leading 7th home run of the season. Brewers collecting 13 total hits as a team. Only striking out 4 times last night, too. And the pitching, solid. Brandon Sproat going just under 5 innings. Couldn't quite get through the 5th inning. Kind of started to fall apart a little bit for him. But dude he did get credited with the win. But I would call it a quality start for Brandon Sproat. If you're looking at the line, you're probably seeing, you are seeing 4 2/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, but he had 5 Ks on there too, gave up that home run. But through 4, Brandon Sproat was pitching very well. But in like typical Brewers fashion, you got another guy coming out of the pen that will throw you a few innings and look really good. Shane Drone picking up his 2nd win of the season, improving to a 2-1, 2.57 ERA. He last night gets credited with the win, going 4 1/3, giving up 4 hits, striking out 5, no walks, no runs. Just a super impressive performance from Shane again last night. But lots to like about last night's game. We'll recap it and take a look to tonight's matchup, where the Miz kid, Jacob Mizorowski, is going to be on the mound looking for his 4th win on the season. He has been putting together some impressive performances back-to-back and such. Can he continue that? Cubs are going to be throwing out Ben Brown, maybe their version. I mean, he's 6'6", a little bit of a taller dude over there too, and he's coming off of a 7 strikeout performance against the Braves back on the 14th. So we'll take a look at tonight's game 2 between Brewers and Cubs. But great start last night for the Crew in this series, and moving just a little bit closer to the Cubbies in the standings and such. But again, plenty of Brewers chat here. And I want to throw out a potential scenario. Should Jake Bauers get more starts in left field just to keep his bat in the lineup? You know, if you got Vaughn in the lineup, do you put Bauers? It does sacrifice a little bit in terms of defense in the outfield. But with that bat, with that offense, do you put Chirio in center, Bauers in left, keep that lineup going? Obviously, depending on pitching matchups, and you could have Bauers, going over there at first base for Vaughn and such. But I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm intrigued with it. We'll hit this up and discuss it here this morning. So plenty of baseball talk coming your way. We're going to catch up in a couple hours with Mr. RJ Cardinal, because in typical fashion, it seems like after every Tuesday after we talk to him, something does pop up with the Badgers, and that was the case last Tuesday when we found out the search committee for the AD, for the athletic director and such, and kind of a timeline in terms of how the Badgers or what the Badgers, kind of want to fill this role in and by the summer. So should be kind of a quick turnaround here. It seems like, but we'll get the latest and greatest on what's the talk like down in Madtown with Madison with Mr. RJ Cardinal coming up at about 8:20 this morning. So we got that going on here, and then maybe we'll throw a little bit of football. So I mean, Packers OTAs and such. That's not till next week in that, but kind of a cool story. But hopefully, something to watch, an easy person to root for. The Packers added another cornerback to their roster. His name is Marlon Jones. He is an undrafted rookie, but his story is pretty remarkable. Jones has defeated cancer. He had to sit out the 2024 season, overcame stage 3 Hodgkin lymphoma, and wondering if he would ever play football again. And now Green Bay has brought him on. So we'll see if he's able to make the ball club and how long. But just a really cool story. A really cool story and somebody easy to root for. So maybe, if he's still on the roster when we get to training camp and preseason, if you hear the name Marlon Jones, that would be a fan favorite. But just kind of a cool story that I wanted to pass along and such. So, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe we've got some football staff on there. Hoops-wise, last night, the NBA, Spurs picking up a Game 1 victory with De'Aaron Fox out with a sprained ankle. Victor Wembanyama kind of announcing his presence with authority last night. So you're probably going to hear about that quite a bit if you listen to any national programs and such. But over 40 points, over 20 rebounds for Victor Wembanyama last night as the Spurs take Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Stanley Cup playoffs, we got a Game 7 last night, and it goes to overtime. Perfect, but Montreal moves on. So anybody hoping for Buffalo or rooting for Buffalo, my apologies, but Montreal gets the 4-3 victory in OT of a Game 7. So also, it is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? You can let us know. Hit us up with a message. Also, your confessions, your sports confessions for today. What's something that you need to confess and maybe make yourself feel a little bit better? And it is also I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. All right? I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. I want some participation points here, so I need you all to hit me up. I don't care whether it's on the texting line or on the chat room. I'm gonna give away some stuff for participation points today. Whether it's maybe some sports talk tees. I got a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card over here too. I got a bunch of other stuff. I got a little bit of a rummage sale here, if you will. Maybe some mugs and that. So we'll see what the participation points looks like. All right, so join in on the conversation. We're going to get going here with the leadoff. We'll talk some Brewers, taking a look back at Game 1. A W for the Brew Crew last night. Offense coming out and giving some early run support for the Brew Crew. And Sproats, Shane Drowan, they were solid last night too. And then we get Jacob Mizorowski for tonight. Let's break it all down, shall we? We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be doing the program from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire because Hy-Vee in Eau Claire is going to be doing a breakfast for veterans, current active military members or veterans from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the 250th anniversary of Team USA. So if you are a veteran or active military member, stop by for a free breakfast. All right, tomorrow, Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, 6 to 10 a.m. And a reminder, free coffee too every Wednesday for the month of May for veterans and active military members. And speaking of Hy-Vee, you can check out their latest and greatest deals going on, especially with Memorial Day weekend coming up here. You can go to their Facebook page and check out their flyer, but a lot of good stuff. Buy two, get one free Tombstone pizza. You kidding me? That's like a staple in our household. We've got a deep freezer dedicated to pizza because I think it's every other day. My kids got to have a pizza. Shout out to Hometown Proud with a little Tombstone pizza over there. Otherwise, if you're looking for some items to put up on the grill, you got $4.98 fresh ground beef, $8 for $12 for their special recipe bratwurst legs or patties as well. 3 for $10. 3 for $10. Doritos, Ruffles, bags, chips. So if you got a little grill out going on for Memorial Day weekend, load up at our good friends at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. All right. Let's get things going here this morning, shall we? Let's open it up. Let's open up the leadoff. Talking to Brew Crew. Brew Crew picking up a Game 1 victory yesterday against the Chicago Cubs. 9-3 victory. You had let's start off with the offense. Christian Yelich hitting one off the scoreboard last night. Jake Bauers hitting his 7th home run on the season. The Brewers putting up some early run support, getting after Imanaga last night and charging him with his 4th loss on the season. I mean, you had the Brewers putting up, it was really that 4th inning where it kind of loaded up. 4 runs, and then adding 3 more in the 5th for some insurance. That solo shot from Yelich, by the way, coming in the 2nd inning there. So, but in the middle there, 4 or 5 innings, 7 of the 9 runs for the Brewers coming from there. You look at the offensive lineup from last night. I know it's just one game, but Bauers. Depending on pitching matchups and such, I'd be open to seeing Bauers maybe playing a little bit more left field. I get it. It takes you down from a defensive standpoint. But if you could keep that bat in the lineup while he's hitting this way, I think this is something that maybe we're going to see a little bit more going forward. Because Chiriot, Terang, Contreras, Yelich, Vaughn, Bauers, those top 6, right now, with the way they're hitting, I think you try to keep that one going as much as possible. Chiriot collected a couple hits last night. Terang went hitless, did score on with a walk. Contreras collected 2 hits. Yelich collected 2 hits. Vaughn collected 2 hits. Bauers collected 2 hits. Everybody had a hit in this game except for Bryce Terang. And I don't think a lot of people are too worried about Bryce Terang right now. 13 total hits for the Crew. But you look at Bauers and the season that he's having, you go back to that Twin series this past weekend too. If you were kind of following along, that guy, I mean, he was hitting a cover off the ball, and man, he was just maybe a few feet short here or there, give or take, from adding a couple of home runs on there too. But his last 30 games, his last 109 at-bats, Jake Bauers is hitting .303, and he's slugging a .523. You want to narrow it down to his last 26 at-bats, .462 average, .517 on base, and an .846 slugging percentage. So far this season overall, he is hitting .288, an on base of a .361, and an OPS of an .872. Heck, dude's even got 4 stolen bases on there as well. So, yep, you may be suffering a little bit in the defensive department in left field. But given what he's doing offensively this year, I think you try to keep him in the lineup as much as possible and take advantage of this thing. You know, we've talked about different players and the starts that they've had to this season, and I'm guilty of this too. This is a confession of mine here on this Sports Confession Tuesday. Kind of overlooked or took for granted what Jake Bauers was doing, and maybe it's like, oh yeah, cool, 6 home runs, team lead, tied for team lead, and whatever, you know, he's up there and such. But then if you really kind of look at it, and you really kind of break it down and look at some of the numbers, Bauers is off to a really good start. Put this in perspective. Okay, so last year, Jake Bauers played in 86 games for the Brewers. 86 games. He had 43 total hits and 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. He is 39 games into this season. He is just 3 hits shy from matching what he did last year. He has the same amount of home runs as he did all of last year. He is 1 RBI off from what he did last year. That's the pace that he's on right now. Total bases, he's just 2 off. 73 total bases last year in 86 games. 71 right now. He's already gotten more doubles this year than what he did all of last year. I'm not saying that Jake Bauers is going to continue this throughout the whole season, but I'm just saying if you could find ways to keep the man in the lineup right now and take advantage of this hot streak that he's on, you got to do it. And if that means playing him in left field, I'm good with it. Because I know it's a small sample size right now, but Andrew Vaughn, hey, he's hitting .311 since he's returned to the lineup, a 928 OPS. So it's not like Andrew Vaughn is playing bad, so you can, kind of do a 50-50 split between him and Bauers. You kind of want to keep him in the lineup too. And I'm not saying that the offense is going to continue to roll with their top 6 looking like, each guy collecting multiple hits and each guy is going to be averaging nearly 300. But I'm just saying, roll with it. That's what you got to do. Baseball is full of streaks. It's 162 flipping games. And when you're in a streak and when you're in a little bit of a zone right now, roll with it. Go with this. And it kind of, again, you look at Garrett Mitchell, somebody that we've been talking about off and on. Even like last night when defensive replacement, Blake Perkins comes in. And then Bauers moved to first. So Perkins came in for Vaughn, and bada bing, bada boom. You have that there. If I'm Garrett Mitchell, I'm a little bit nervous, I think. That's what I believe. But, we'll see how it all kind of plays out here. But I like it. Hey, don't look now. Stop the presses, people. Last 7 games, guess who's hitting over 300? He finally, for this season, has climbed over a 200 batting average. Joey Ortiz. Last 7 games, 313. Now it's only been 16 at-bats, but hey, progress. Progress being made a little bit. So, and, Yelich, I know he's been bothered with some injuries, whether it's been the hamstring or the back, but now, the last couple games we've seen back-to-back days with home runs, a little bit of the power. That's his job, right? That's his job for that long ball. And how about that little stoink in right or left field last night too. That wind was pretty tricky. It was pretty nasty at Wrigley Field yesterday, and it seems like the Brewers were the team that took most of the advantage with that. But I want to talk about some of the pitching. Sprout, Drowan, kind of like the comparison that Pat Murphy talked about those two and how the Brewers have been kind of utilizing two pitchers in games. Kind of an interesting comparison that Pat Murphy threw out there yesterday. So let's talk a little bit more about the Brewers pitching and then taking a look at Jacob Misiorowski getting the start tonight. MLB.com has a piece up about Jacob Misiorowski. And obviously, it's a recency thing, but the writer Mike Petrillo says, we're watching the hardest throwing starter to ever live. And then parentheses, probably. We'll explain. But numbers don't lie right now. So let's talk some pitching. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with more coming up after these few words. Dings, dents, or something more serious? Don't stress about it. Just head to Superior Auto Body. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. That's Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. So last night, obviously, Brewers putting up 9 runs, couple of home runs and such. That's what's getting a lot of the attention. But let's give a tip of the cap and some credit to the pitching from the Brewers last night. Brandon Sproat going 4 2/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, did give up a home run. But the first few innings kind of fell off in that 5th inning there for him. But his first few innings, dude looked awesome. And probably helped, to get a little bit of run support, in the second inning with Yelich home run. Brewers obviously putting up 4 in the top of the 4th there too. But Sproat, beginning of the game, first few, dude looked sharp. He looked good. And then Shane Drowan comes in, finishes up 4 1/3, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks. He picks up the win, gets credited with the win to improve to 2-1 on the season. You look at what Shane Drowan has done in the month of May so far in 4 games. A .96 ERA. .96. In his last 3 games, in about, that'd be 8 innings of work, has not given up a single earned run, 5 hits. Oh, and no walks. The last 3 games, he has not issued a single walk, has not issued a run. The only run was back on May 4th. We're just looking at the month of May here. In fact, if you want to, outside of his first game, April 8th, where he gave up 3 earned runs to Boston, he has given up 1-0-1-1-0-0-0. He has settled in nicely. And this is another example of a pitcher that's able to come in for the Brewers, give you multiple innings of relief work. And kind of wrap. We just saw Chad Patrick do it. We've seen Aaron Ashby do something similar. We've seen DL Hall, do things similar. You add in Shane Drowan now, and you got another pitcher that is able to do this. And Pat Murphy, after the game, kind of made an interesting comparison with it and kind of talked about it's like A-ball. It's kind of like watching A-ball here a little bit, where you got these piggyback starts or piggyback. I don't know if piggyback starts is the right way to say it, but, piggyback performances. Yeah, his exact quote was, "It's like back in A-ball when you did the tandem." That's it. We let them both go. It doesn't always work that way, but it's kind of a neat concept, especially for young pitchers. That was the plan going in. Plan worked, and after winning the final game between these teams last season, the Brewers struck first this season. There's a lot of time to play out. It sounds cliche, but I'm really just worried about today and trying to play good baseball and trying to find ourselves. I still don't think we've hit our stride yet. But going back to the plan, with the A-ball comparison, the tandem, that was the word I was trying to find too. It seems to be working right now here for the Brewers, especially, like he said, with the younger pitchers. And it'll be curious to see if this is kind of something continuing. Logan Henderson, Chad Patrick on Saturday. Last night was Brandon Sproat, Shane Drowan. Keep some of your other bullpen options fairly healthy. When you have guys, multiple guys, that can go multiple innings in relief for you. Now you kind of look at this Brewers bullpen and you're looking at, man, they got some horses in there. They got some guys. Whether it's, Uribe as the closer or McGill as the closer. Koenig's probably coming back soon. Aaron Ashby, DL Hall. You look at these guys and they're like, man, these guys can give you some length. I think really, and even Grant Anderson might, I know he just came off of a performance where he just went under 2 innings of work. Yeah. I like how this bullpen is set up right now for the Crew. So tonight, speaking of pitching, we get the Miz kid, Jacob Mizorowski. He's coming off of that performance against the Padres where he went 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 10 Ks, did not pick up the win. The Yankees game where he did pick up a win, 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. 2 walks, 11 Ks. You want to talk about a pitcher that has not given up any runs in the month of May? Jacob Mizorowski has not given up any runs in the month of May so far. Knock on wood that continues. I hope I didn't just jinx it for Jacob Mizorowski. But anybody who's been following and paying attention to the Brewers so far probably knows that he has been on fire here as of late. And will that continue tonight going up against the Cubs? I think it's fair to say that we're not too worried, or at least I'm not too worried about Jacob Mizorowski in a big game, in a big moment, in a tense environment. He has done it in Boston. He has done it with the Yankees. He has done it, with the Padres this year. You look at last year against the Cubbies and in the postseason, Dodgers, whatever. Jacob, I'm not worried about that for Jacob Mizorowski. Now, can he continue? It's a lot to ask, coming what he has done so far in the month of May, but can he continue to go about it? On the flip side, the Cubbies are going to be throwing Ben Brown. Now, if you're not too familiar with Ben Brown, he has appeared in 14 games so far for the Cubs. He has started 2 of those games. He is 1-1 with a 1.60 ERA. In the month of May, he has been really solid for the Cubs too. 4 games, 0.82 ERA. Now, he doesn't log a ton of innings. In fact, his last 2 starts, he has pitched 4 innings in each of those 2 starts, and that's been his max so far. So, we'll see how much they can or will stretch him out tonight, but, he's coming off of throwing 65 pitches against the Braves back on the 14th, and that's the highest he has been so far this year in terms of pitch count. Will we see something similar and such? But Brewers hitters have a little bit of experience going up against him. A couple games worth and such. You got Jackson Chourio, who is 0 for 8 against him. But Contreras, in 8 career at-bats, is hitting .375 with an .875 OPS. We've got Frelick, 6 at-bats, .453 OPS, 167 average. Ortiz is 0 for across the board. Terang in 6 career at-bats, .333 with a 762 OPS. And Christian Yelich in 9 career at-bats, 111 with a .333 OPS. Cubs-wise, they got a little bit of experience. Not as much when you look at some of the career numbers, not as much as the Brewers hitters have against Brown. But you're talking about a game's worth. Suzuki's .250 in 4 career at-bats. Happ .250, 4 career at-bats. Bush is actually 2 for 4 against him with 3 RBIs. So a little bit of experience. They're sort of familiar with him. But if you have some time this morning or later on today, head over to MLB.com. Mike Petrillo has a piece talking about, is Jacob Mizorowski the hardest throwing starter to ever live? And he opens up the piece with this statement. Jacob Misiorowski is the hardest throwing starting pitcher in the hardest throwing season on record, which means we can start right off here with the big flashing premise. Misiorowski is, in parentheses, probably the hardest throwing pitcher of all time, and you get to see him right now. That's good news for you, the present-day baseball fan, since you could see history being made. It's worse news for the Cubs lineup, which has to face him tonight in a series that is going to have a lot to say about the fate of the NL Central. It's a lofty title to put on a 24-year-old to say likely the hardest throwing starter ever, and yet it's easier to prove than disprove. More than 3,600 pitchers have started at least 20 games in their career dating back to the beginning of time. Point to one. Misiorowski throws harder than him. Yes, harder than him, or even him. And so the sample size here, for maybe some that want to kind of downplay it a little bit, pitch track data started back in 2008. As it says here, he's got the 8 hardest pitches ever tracked dating back to the advent of the tracking era in 2008 by a starter. He's got 19 of the top 23. He is quite likely going to break the record for the most triple-digit pitches by a starter in a season by June. Hunter Green set that record in 2022 with 337. Putting Misiorowski almost 70% of the way there already. I mean, it's impressive numbers. We are witnessing it firsthand. We are watching it firsthand. It's awesome. It's fun. It's exciting. But I think a lot of us Brewers fans, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think a lot of us Brewers fans also have it in the back of our mind. How's the elbow going to hold up? How is the shoulder going to hold up? How is that arm going to hold up? But right now, let's enjoy it, baby. Let's enjoy it. Excited to see what Misiorowski has in store for tonight. First pitch, 6:40. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. All right, let's take a quick break as we start to wrap up the first quarter. We'll be back after these few words. Summer is nearly here, and that means it's time to get outdoors and to make some memories and be ready for whatever the season brings. That's where Tilden Gun can come on in. Whether you're gearing up for target practice, heading to the range, or preparing for your next outdoor adventure, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to get you set up right. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they've got everything that you need, all backed by knowledgeable service that you can trust. At Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy. It's about making sure you feel confident, informed, and ready every minute that you head on out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the outdoors. Be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun and see why they are the trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. Steve with a quick text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, asking, curious to hear your thoughts about the rule where the starting pitcher has to go 5 full innings in order to get the win. I think it needs to be changed in this day and age where it has become less and less common to get 5 full innings from any pitcher. And last night was a perfect example of that. Yes, Jerome's numbers were a little bit better than Sproat's, but to me, giving the win to the guy who inherited a 5-run lead instead of the guy who helped build that 5-run lead doesn't make sense. I agree with you, Steve. And it's honestly something I was thinking about, talking about, and we've touched on it. Something similar to, like the Aaron Ashby. And Aaron Ashby has made comments like, yeah, it's probably going to get changed because, he's got 8 wins. He's 8-0, so far this season. So maybe it adjusts there. But I agree with you. I think, Brandon Sproat, I thought he should have got, I understand there's a rule in place, but I agree. I think if we could change it, to me, Brandon Sproat should have got the W. Should have got the win. So, no, I agree. I don't think I can add on to too much what you said, Steve. I think you hit on a lot of great points there. So I would checkmark that. Sign me up. Put my name on the petition to change it or whatever you want. But I agree with you, Steve. And I do think that's something that Major League Baseball is going to have to take a look at, especially with the evolving way of, teams are utilizing pitchers and such. I think they will take a look at it. I think they will adjust it, especially the more that we see these, like the Aaron Ashbys or even, last night and such. I think we will. Because, too, it's like, even, I don't know. I don't know what the perfect fix is either because, you'll get that starting pitcher who goes 8 innings, 7, 8 innings, gives up maybe 1 earned run and gets charged with a loss. And I'm not sure. I feel like there's probably incentives in Major League Baseball contracts similar to the NFL type contracts. We just hear more about it in the NFL. But, if these players get pegged in terms of pay, you got to do this. And, if you reach or if you have fewer losses than this or that you get a little bonus in that, well, they're pitching to a high level. It's just they're so dependent on the other teammates to get the job done and get them a win too. So, but keep your thoughts coming. All right, I'm giving away some stuff for participation points today. So hit us up with a message 715-830-1912 or hit us up on the Section 105 chat room. Where Barb says Joey's defense was pretty good last night as well. Hope he can keep it going. As Joe says, less than a week for the Express to start. So, continue to hit us up with your thoughts. All right, 715-830-1912. Or again, that Shoe Doctors, or that is a Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or the Section 105 video chat. Send me your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? It is also a Sports Confession Tuesday. So what sports confessions do you have? And I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So we'll wrap up the last couple minutes here with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, Kasper. How you feeling lately about life?
I'm okay. How about you?
If you had to pick a word to best describe you currently, what would you say?
Indifferent. Ready for vacation.
Okay. What about one word that you would not use to describe you right now? If there was a word that you're like, that is definitely not my word right now, what would it be?
Enthusiasm. I don't know. I'm just making
You want me to get you some pom poms? Are you
Yeah,
you're lacking the rah rah?
I think I just need more coffee.
That might be it.
Yeah.
That's what you tell yourself as an adult on repeat every day of your life. Coffee and more coffee is the only possible solution to offset whatever you're going through as a grown up.
I need some extra shots of espresso or whatever they call it.
So, what is the best team ever? I'll give you some examples, okay? I was reading about this because obviously it's a complicated debate because it requires different sports, and different sports is into the discussion of how you measure greatness and yada, yada, yada. But, for example, they say the best team in NBA history probably, what would you say?
Best team in NBA history?
Yeah.
I got to go with the Bulls.
96?
Yep.
96
72
Bulls.
and 10, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they said that was the best for basketball. What about your best football team? What do you think about this? And I'm going to ask you, did you see this on socials, Luke Combs? So
No.
Luke Combs played Lambeau.
Yep.
And he has a country song, if you're familiar. It's where he says, let's shotgun one. It's one too many, about drinking beer. So he goes out there. He's doing a show at Lambeau. I don't know if anybody went to it, but if they did, they brought out Packers players, Coach LaFleur, at one point, and they all shotgunned a beer. That was, and actually Luke Combs could shotgun a beer like a Boyceville champ.
I will say the one thing, should I have brought back David Bakhtiari for that, as we've seen he can shotgun beers?
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say Matt LaFleur is better at that than Aaron Rodgers, too. So
Yeah, absolutely. So if you had to go back to football, not just our shotgun Packers, but best NFL team in your opinion?
This will probably be our last one, but it's probably going to be a Patriots team, but I am going to go with the 62 Packers.
They said undefeated Dolphins.
Oh, that's just lame because they're undefeated. So
Some would say the best ever is the 85 Bears.
Oh, that's lame, too.
All right, we got two lames and no agree.
Yeah.
That sounds like you.
Yep.
Maybe you do need more espresso.
I do.
Instead of a couple shots, couple 3, 4.
I agree.
Keep
All right, thanks,
drinking.
Marks.
Anytime.
All right, second hour kicking off right now on this fabulous Tuesday morning of May 19th. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your starts. If you're already up and at it, you should be. We got C-Bomb chiming in saying, I wish I could say it grinds my gears that Cubs and White Sox fans start yelling Green Bay sucks, but it doesn't. Living rent-free in those poor Bears fans' heads is actually quite enjoyable. I'm not saying I like watching Cubs fans cry. I'm just saying it makes me chuckle a little. I do appreciate, I do enjoy what the Brewers Twitter account, X account, I think it was just Twitter. I don't know if they did it on Facebook, but I saw it on Twitter. After the win last night, the Brewers tweeting, "This win is dedicated to the beautiful city of Green Bay." Well played. Well played. I like a little chit-chat back and forth with a little rivalry. That was pretty sweet. That was pretty savage by the Brewers Twitter account. Dedicated to the beautiful city of Green Bay. Nice. Good pull. Good work. Good work. I like it. I'm with you, C-Bomb. I can't really say it grinds my gears because it literally is rent-free. Right there, rent-free. And the old noggin. What is grinding your gears? You know what grinds my gears? What grinds my gears is when, people say, it's May. All right, it's May. It's baseball season's May. There's a lot of season left to go. Just don't get so high. Don't get so low. Stop it. It's May. There's a lot of season left to go. We got 3/4 of this thing left to go here. There's nothing wrong with being excited, being pumped up, being enthusiastic about your team if they're playing well. There's 162 of these things good in a season. There's going to be low points. There's going to be high points. And for all the naysayers out there saying, it's May, don't get stop. Just want it to be neutral and not be excited when your team wins. I'm not going to be Randy Quaid in Major League 2, just, sitting there and being potty mouth and being a poo-poo the whole time and coming up, well, they'll blow it in the playoffs. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But I'm going to cheer for my team. I'm going to root for my team. I'm going to be down when my team stinks. Probably a little sky is falling here. That's what we do as fans. We live vicariously through our teams. Some maybe do it a little bit extreme. And probably should take a step back and take a deep breath. But I'm gonna root for my team, and I'm gonna be happy for my team when they're doing well. And right now, you know what? The Brewers, they're playing well. Let's give them credit to where credit's due. The Brewers are playing well. And there's going to be times this season where they're going to go through rough patches, losing streaks, and we're going to be like, oh, what are they doing? This guy is just playing awful, bench him. So if we're going to do that, it's going to happen. And that's why when they do play well, or they are playing well, hey, I'm gonna praise it, and I'm going to be happy. I'm going to not try to take it for granted either. Nick coming in with the text, huge win for the Brewers last night. Huge win. We're going to talk lots more Brewers here this morning. We got the Miz Kid coming up tonight. Excited to see what he has in store for the Brew Crew. So, what else is grinding your gears? Send those on over. Your sports confessions, your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. All right, you can send those on over as well. Coming up next hour, I'm excited to catch up with RJ Cardinal because last Tuesday after we chatted with him, of course, the news about Badgers putting together a search committee or putting together a committee to find and interview and all that for the new athletic director for Wisconsin. And we kind of have a timeline now because in that release from last Tuesday, it said wanting it in place by the summer, which, I mean, we're approaching the end of May here. So, obviously, it's going to be a quick turnaround, quickish turnaround. Now that's been a week. what is the rumblings, what is the latest rumors, or what's he hearing down in Madison. So we'll talk with RJ Cardinal coming up at about 8:20 here this morning. So what else we got to talk? Packers signing another undrafted rookie free agents. Packers signing Vanderbilt's Marlon Jones. Marlon Jones. Now, Marlon Jones, he is, I don't know if he is going to be on the roster when training camp and preseason kind of opens up. I don't know if he's going to be there, but right now he is an instant player to kind of root for. Because Marlon Jones is somebody who defeated stage 3 cancer. He began his college career in 2019 with Eastern Washington, played 4 seasons there. He then went to Vanderbilt, but he missed his first season with Vanderbilt because he was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma on the day before his scheduled move to Nashville. He returned to the field in 2025. And when you look at some of his advanced analytics, okay, if you look at the RAS numbers, he scored an 8.26. Athletic testing, all right, relative athletic scores, RAS, just to kind of give you a refresh from the draft prospects and such. That would have placed him 537th out of 3,075 corners from 1987 to 2026. So not of all the corners right now. Go back to 1987. Again, I don't know if this is going to be a player that is going to be on the roster by the time we open up preseason and training camp because there could still be a lot of movement. But if he is on the roster and he does play in the preseason, instant guy to root for with that story. Battling cancer, defeating stage 3 cancer, and having a chance to live out his dream. What a story. What an absolute story. Awesome story. Absolute awesome story. And I'm rooting for him now. I mean, I'm rooting for a lot of people. I just want what's best for the Packers and such, but definitely rooting for this kid. And he's a former track star, too. What's his 40-yard dash? Okay, so his 40-yard dash was a 4.50. 10-yard split is where it really kind of jumps up there, where he graded an 8.76, 1.53. His vertical, 39, which was 9.17. So his composite explosion grade is great. Broad jump. Okay, that's where his breakdowns, where his testings were very good. So, but we'll see how it all plays out. All right, let's take a quick break. Continue to send me your thoughts, whether it's on the Brew Crew, maybe a little hoops from last night. Victor Wembanyama, dominant in San Antonio's Game 1 victory last night, Stanley Cup playoffs. Montreal moving on, defeating Buffalo last night in Game 7. Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final or Stanley Cup playoffs. Man, and it goes to overtime. It's like the best of all worlds to watch that. So, or whatever else is on your mind. All right, send them on over. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with more after these few words. Sunshine, road trips, summer adventures, they are a-calling. Is your vehicle ready, though? That's the question. At AGM Automotive in Eau Claire, they'll make sure that you hit the road with confidence. From AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full inspections, AGM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. Don't let car trouble slow down your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all summer long. C-Bomb on the Section 105 chats saying this Marlon Jones story is great. Same cancer my son beat, and James Conner beat. My son's was stage 3 as well, so I know what Jones went through pulling hard for him. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So let's, sorry, I got sidetracked there too. So got a couple more texts going back to the Brewers. Rick, a little bit earlier, saying regarding the Jacob Misiorowski best, hardest throwing pitcher of all time, it's hard to say all time when data doesn't go all the way back like it is now, but it is unbelievable to see how hard this kid throws. I just hope that he doesn't suffer any major injuries to that elbow or shoulder. That will always be a concern with guys who throw as hard as he does. We got another texter chiming in about Jacob Misiorowski. Jacob Misiorowski is elite, superstar, ace, whatever you want to call him. The guy has shown up in big moments, which you want to see from your superstar type of players. Excited to see what he can do tonight against this Chicago Cubs lineup that probably wants to bounce back after last night. Then we have Tim coming in here. Baseball is so much fun to watch right now within this NL Central division. For people who don't get caught up on the highs and the lows, for people who don't get caught up in the highs or the lows, they're missing out on some really good baseball right now. Take it all in, because like you said, there's going to be some slow moments, but right now the Crew is playing some really good baseball in a really tough division. Embrace it, enjoy it, love it. So, okay. Yeah, keep those texts coming. 715-830-1912. We got hoops-wise last night, Victor Wembanyama. We talk about players and creating legacies and jumping out to, kind of taking that next step into postseason and such. Maybe Victor Wembanyama is doing that this year. Remember that was kind of the talk with Anthony Edwards a couple of years ago? Maybe that's the case for Victor Wembanyama. As a texter had chimed in, is Victor Wembanyama a top 5 player in the league right now? All right, I'll throw it out to the rest of you guys and gals. Do you think Victor Wembanyama is a top 5 player right now? I'll throw it out to the rest. Top 10? Okay, top 5? I don't know if I can put him there yet. I did want to pass this along, too, in case you didn't hear, just a little bit more of a local reference. Eau Claire North. All right, Eau Claire North, they have a new boys basketball coach, and they actually go from the college ranks. So Michael Cooper, who has been an assistant coach / director of player development with UW Milwaukee for the last couple of years. He has been a part of the UW Milwaukee program since 2022, but he is now the new head boys basketball coach at Eau Claire North. So just wanted to pass that along. I know we got a couple of local, crosstown baseball matchup going up against North and Memorial today too at Carson Park. So if you're looking to catch some local baseball action, you got that going on here for tonight as well. So Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 7 last night, as we mentioned. Montreal picking up the win. So we know what the final or the conference finals now look like in the Stanley Cup. We have Avalanche taking on the Golden Knights. We knew that matchup ahead of time, but now it's the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Hurricanes. If the Sabres would have moved on, it would have been all top seeds, all 1 seeds moving on. But the Canadiens moving on as the 3 seed. They upset the Lightning in the first round and then upsetting the Sabres. So, but Hurricanes are a tough team. We'll see if Montreal can get past them. So we're into the conference finals now, officially full on for the Stanley Cup. And for the NBA, that started yesterday with the Spurs picking up that win. So a couple more Brewers messages I forgot to get to a little bit earlier from all of you texters. A little bit earlier, Mike had texted in. That Brewers game last night was so fun to watch. I think Jackson Chourio, even though his sample size has been small, he has had a really good start to begin the season. Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers from Jackson Chourio. You know, he just picked up his first home run of the season this weekend against the Twinnies. But, you know, you kind of look at, he's had 54 at-bats so far this season, and he's hitting .315. On base is a .351, and his OPS is an .814. Clutch bat last night, working the count. Big single to score some runs. So, yeah, I mean, you look at it, numbers-wise, he's off to a good start. A couple more texts a little bit earlier on when we were talking about Jake Bauers. We had a texter say, yes, I would definitely play Jake Bauers in left field, even if it means sacrificing some defense. You have to keep that bat in the lineup right now. And Dave had said, yes, keep Jake Bauers in the lineup. He's not going to continue to hit like this throughout the rest of the season. It would be awesome, but odds are it's not. But you have to strike while the iron is hot. Sacrifice the defense for more offense. And honestly, that's kind of where I'm at too. And I know a lot of it's going to depend on, you know, whether it's a lefty-righty pitching matchup, whether Bauers maybe plays at first or you keep him in the lineup at left field. And Vaughn, I mean, the top 6 hitters, if we look at the lineup from yesterday, and I know Pat Murphy has like thrown out a different lineup in every single game so far this season. But you look at the top 6 hitters and their numbers so far this season. Again, the top 6 hitters in order from last night's lineup. It's a solid group, and I kind of like how it's played up here. Chourio at leadoff, Turang at 2, Contreras at 3, Yelly at 4, Vaughn at 5, Bauers at 6. Your top 6. Chourio, who's got an .814 OPS, hitting .315. Turang was the only hitless player last night. I don't think anybody's too concerned about him. .280, .874 OPS. Contreras, who collected a couple more hits last night, .287, 74 or .745 OPS. Yelly, .297, .873 OPS. He collected a couple hits, including that home run off the scoreboard. Vaughn, similar path to Jackson Chourio to begin the season. He's hitting .314 with a .928 OPS so far. And then Bauers, .288 with an .872 and a team-high 7 home runs. Yeah, I think Bauers has played his way into more opportunities, into more ABs. You know, we talk about Bryce Turang. You go to like Brewers.com, and Bryce Turang is up there in a lot of categories. It's kind of changed here in the last 24, 48 hours with Bauers' picture up there now. Bauers, team lead in home runs, team lead in batting average, team lead in RBIs. He's actually tied now with Contreras and Bryce Turang in RBIs. And he's got the 3rd most hits. So Bauers is 2nd on OPS behind Turang, top in home runs. He is 2nd in runs scored behind Turang. Tops in batting average, 3-way tie for RBIs, 3rd in hits. And let me just, for comparison's sakes here, let me just kind of bring this up. Just comparing Bauers and Turang and Contreras here. So, Bryce Turang, this season, 157 ABs. Contreras, 171 ABs. Jake Bauers, 139. So when you look at it from that kind of perspective, Bowers has had fewer ABs than Contreras and Turang, yet he's right up there with them or above them in a lot of the statistical categories for the Brewers so far this year. They've got to find ways to keep that guy in the lineup. They've got to keep that guy in the lineup right now. Strike while the iron is hot, as a few of you have said. Put him in left field. Put Cheerio in center. Frelick in right. And let it roll. Especially if Garrett Mitchell's had some good moments in that, but he struggled here as of late. I'd find ways to keep Bowers in there as much as possible. All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to. We'll be right back after these quick words. Summer is right around the corner, and that means it is time to freshen up your home from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether you are hosting some backyard get-togethers, opening the doors to family and friends, or you're just ready for a seasonal refresh, new flooring can completely transform your space. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has everything you need to bring your vision to life. And it's not just about the looks. It's about quality that you could count on and an expert guidance every single step of the way. Their team is ready to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. So before summer officially kicks off, make sure that your home is ready to shine. Stop on into Carpet City Flooring Center today and take the first step towards a space that you will love all season long. Ben with the Grind My Gears. What grinds my gears is people still not given appreciation for Pat Murphy. I don't know, Ben, who is doing that, but if they are and they're still out there, shame on them. Shame on them. But, yeah, I think right now, okay, how many try to take away, and I know I was going to throw this out there, but I don't think you can. Because I honestly feel like when it comes to Pat Murphy, maybe it depends on the team that you have put together. Because I was going to say, how many managers would you take ahead of Pat Murphy in Major League Baseball right now? And I don't think that's a fair question necessarily to ask because there is a big unknown with this. Could Pat Murphy's style work with a Yankees, a Dodgers, those type of teams? I don't know. I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm not saying it would. I don't know. I just know that right now, it works with a younger team mixed in with some veterans. It's, the Brewers aren't just like this team full of 20, 21, 22-year-olds. They got a Yelly. They got Contreras, right, who's been in the league here for a little bit. Gary Sanchez, they've got some veteran dudes on here. But for the most part, it's a lot of the younger players. And I think with the personality, too, even of a Yelich, it fits. Yelich is their team leader. He has won an MVP in that, but he's not, I wouldn't classify him as this me type of player or spotlight, you know what I mean? So I don't think I could ask that question. How many more managers would you take, or how many managers would you take ahead of Pat Murphy? I think this is the team that is built around his style. And I think it would be curious at some point. I don't want Pat Murphy to go anywhere at any time soon. And obviously with his age and such, I don't know, if this would be his only shot in that. But it would be kind of curious to see if that style would work with, say, like a Mets team that might be in change or might be looking for a new manager, or a Dodgers or a Yankees. Maybe that's kind of the question. Do you think? Maybe we kind of inadvertently fell into that question. What? We don't know the true answer. All right, so let me just throw it out to you armchair MVPs out there, my fellow armchair MVPs. If we put, and we don't want that to happen, but if you put Pat Murphy as the manager of the Dodgers, as the manager of the Yankees, Phillies, whatever, okay, one of those teams, are they, now I know the Phillies are struggling here a little bit, but, kind of look at the last couple of years. Are they as successful or not? What do you think? It's tough. It's tough because I think Pat Murphy gets respect from younger players, veteran players. You heard Freddie Freeman, was it last year or the year before, kind of talk about it, because Freddie Freeman was dealing with some family stuff with his younger kids, and he made a special shout out to Pat Murphy. Like Pat Murphy, I think just has, and you hear some of the former players, veterans who are now retired, and they just speak. So I think the veterans definitely would kind of, respect the heck out of him. But, Pat Murphy's got a little tough love to him too. would some of those established veteran players, we've seen it before in other sports, other leagues, other teams, would they kind of buy into that, or does that wear thin for some of those guys? Something to ponder. Something to really ponder. But, Murphy is going to be the first person to tell you, too, it's not all him. He's going to give credit to the players, and he's going to give credit to his assistants and his staff. And you look at the staff, I mean, what Chris Hook means to this team. If Pat Murphy is the most important person to the overall success of this team, first of all, would you buy that? Do you think Pat Murphy is the most important Brewers person to the overall success of this team? Is Chris Hook second? Is he second on that list? I just look at these younger pitchers and look at how they are developing these guys, utilizing these guys, putting them in a position to be successful. And this is without Brandon Woodruff now for a hot minute. Quinn Priester, last year, look what he did. He has not pitched at all this year, and they can afford to be patient with him. Mizorowski has taken a step. Kyle Harrison looks legit. Logan Henderson, Brandon Sport, Shane, whether they're starters or bullpen guys, the impact that the Brewers pitching coaching staff have had on these players is insanely remarkable. You're talking about a Brewers team that is fourth best in team ERA, 3.28. Actually, strike that, third best, 3.28. The two teams above them, Braves and Dodgers. Braves are at a 3.14. Dodgers at a 3.17. A Brewers pitching staff that gives up the fewest amount of home runs, 35 right now. Fourth most strikeouts. Fourth best opponent's batting average. The numbers speak for themselves. Shutouts, tied for second. Actually, no. Let me want a picture. Actually, they're towards the bottom. I forgot to toggle that. Ignore that one. They're towards the bottom there. Boston's actually gotten 6 shutouts. When a pitcher throws a complete game shutout and allows no runs, that makes sense there with Brewers inside. Complete games, by the way. Without looking it up, how many? I'm going to throw this out as a trivia question. I want some feedback. I want to hear from you guys and gals. How do I want to phrase this? Multiple teams are in the lead for complete games. What's that number? What do you think the number is for complete games so far this season? What's the leader? You don't have to give me a team name, but what's that number? Just curious to see if anybody knows it without looking it up. Hit me up with either a text or comment on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line if you'd like. See if you know it. But Chris Hook again and Jim Henderson. If I'm a team that has struggled with pitching and maybe developing some pitchers, why would I not? And maybe Chris Hook doesn't want to go anywhere. Doesn't, this is the role he wants, and he's complete, and that is perfectly fine. And I think any Brewers fan would love that to happen. But if I'm a team, I'm at least trying to say, okay, we got to talk. I don't know if it's manager. Can they throw out a bunch of money at him to try to get him over there? What he's got, going back to the Timber Rattlers. So he's got deep roots. Roots run deep with Chris Hook and the Brewers organization. But what Chris Hook has meant to the overall structure of this team has been incredible, invaluable. He is such a key figure to this team. Kyle, you got it right. One complete game. A few teams are on that list, but there is just that's the most so far. Arizona, the Athletics, the Marlins, the Twins, the Phillies, and the Mariners. What's a common thing on there? There is only one team that has a winning record. Okay. Well, no, one team with a winning record. There's one team who's at 500. Philadelphia, 25-23, and they have turned their season around since Don Mattingly has became the interim manager. But the Phillies are the only team with a winning record that have thrown a complete game shutout. I think that just happened with Sanchez, wasn't it? I'll have to double check that. But yeah, Diamondbacks are 500. Athletics now are 23-24. Miami 22-26. Minnesota 22-26. Seattle 23-26. Let me go back to, let's just say 96. 19 complete games was the season lead, tied with the Texas Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays. Brewers on that list had 6. I don't think there's going to be anybody that on the Brewers that might get that this year. But it's kind of fun to just see the trend. How it's just gone down and down and down over the years. Steve says, I absolutely do not think Murphy's style will work on a team like the Dodgers. You don't get to be such a successful college coach without being able to connect with young guys and to call them out when it's needed. And I think he's much better fit for teams like the Brewers that are primarily made up of younger players whose egos haven't gotten the better of them. Put them on a team of ego-driven superstars like the Dodgers and the Yankees, and I think it would be a disaster. Plus, I don't think Murphy would ever be interested in that either. And I think, we can't forget, though, too, with Murphy, I know everybody looks back at the college days, but remember, I mean, he's been at the major league level for a long time now. Even, obviously with Pat or with Craig Counsell's bench coach, but interim manager for the Padres for a hot minute. So, I mean, he's been at the major league level for, since 2010. You're talking 16 years. He was hired in 2010 as a special assistant to baseball operations. He skippered the Padres Northwest League affiliate. Murphy managed the Tucson Padres of the AAA Pacific Coast League in 2013. And in 2015, he was appointed interim manager of the Padres after Bud Black was fired. And then hired as bench coach for Craig Counsell. So, I mean, he's been with the majors. Last time he was in college, managing the team was 2009. And I get it, AAA, those are the younger college kids too. I completely understand that. But I think, it's not like he just made the straight jump, kind of like, Tony did with the Giants right now. Tim in the Cooley region, Murphy could be successful anywhere if the players check their egos at the door. No egos on the Brewers. I think that's probably the best way to say it. Ego's the big thing. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the second hour. Halftime's almost here. We'll be right back after these few words. Whether you are chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. And at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is here with personalized care every step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you don't have to sit on the sidelines. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, to feel better, and to live better. We only got a few minutes left to the top of the hour, but let's kind of reset here and give you a few minutes to chime in with some of the questions that I've been throwing out there. One, Jake Bowers. Do you keep the man in the starting lineup and put him in left field because of what he has been able to do on an offensive standpoint, which means you're probably benching Garrett Mitchell at this point because Jackson would play center. Do you try to find ways to keep Bowers in this lineup right now? Strike while the iron is hot. Kind of just another, do you think, another question we just kind of popped up naturally. Is Chris Hook maybe the second most valuable, if we take away players? No, let's keep players. Let's keep players. Let's keep it fun. Is Chris Hook, would you say, second most valuable member of this Brewers team, maybe behind Pat Murphy? If you have Pat Murphy 1, maybe you don't. And if you don't, tell me who you got. Would you put Chris Hook at number 2? Because of how he has worked his magic with so many different pitchers on this team. Bullpen guys, starters, younger guys, veterans. Would you put Chris Hook at number 2? Or maybe you got him at number 1. Where you got him? Give me that list, okay? Send me your Toys and Four to grind my gears Tuesday, your sports confessions, your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So that could be a good one there with Chris Hook. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. All right? Those lines are open. Remember, I want to hand out some swag today. So it's going to be based off of participation points. Okay? Participation points. We've got some teas. I got a Griffey Jr. card on there. Let's hear it, baby. All right. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to catch up with RJ Cardinal, get the latest and greatest down in Madison surrounding the Badgers. Last week, the news dropped of the committee to get this new AD at Wisconsin. We'll see what RJ's hearing. What's the scuttlebug down in Madison? So we'll hit that up. Plenty more baseball talk as we get set for Game 2. Game 2 of this Brewers-Cubs series. The Miz Kid, Jacob Mizrowski getting the start for the Brewers tonight. So we'll preview that game with the chance for the Brewers to secure a series win if they get the W tonight. But one game at a time, right? One game at a time. Brewers currently half game behind the Cubs for first place in the division. Remember who's waiting right after this too? Dodgers. So it's been a big stretch here for the Brewers, going back to, Yankees, even the Cardinals and the Padres, and now the Cubs. Brewers are playing some good baseball against some very high quality opponents. You can't argue against that. All right. It's halftime. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back after these few words. All right, we are on to the third quarter, the third hour. Flying on by on this Tuesday morning. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday, brought to you by Toyson Ford. What is grinding your gears, peeps? Let us know, all right? Hit us up on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you can join the crew at the Section 105 chat on our YouTube stream. Coming up in about 15 or 20 minutes, we'll catch up with Mr. R.J. Cardinal, get the latest and greatest surrounding the Badgers down in Madison. What's he hearing? Boots on the ground and such. So we'll get to that. We'll get to some of your thoughts on what's grinding your gears, your sports confessions. All right, what do you confess sports-wise? It's a Feel Better Tuesday. Get something off your chest for grinding your gears and your confessions. Send those on over. Also, I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank as Rando from Chippewa Falls with a couple. I'm not saying Illinois fans are sad, but I'm just saying that Green Bay is living rent-free in their head. Like it. Rando also saying, I think that they need to try to keep Bowers in the lineup where they can. His offense is a huge help. Cosign. I would agree. I think right now you strike while the iron's hot. Is Bowers going to keep up this pace? I'd say probably not. But let's see it play out. I think right now, keep doing it, especially given who you've got on the schedule in these teams. You're going to need to be able to score some runs. And right now, that guy is hitting he's playing like he's super confident at the plate right now. And he's got to give him more ABs right now. Keep him in the lineup. Find ways to keep him in the lineup. If that means benching Garrett Mitchell right now, I think you have to. Tim in the Cooley region, Chris Hook, absolutely number 2. He is masterful handling the pitchers. I wonder what the average age of the Brewers starters are compared to the rest of the league. Surveyor, there you go. Look it up because I'm going to get to your text here in a second, Surveyor, so I know you're listening. Read Tim in the Cooley region's text. The average age of the Brewers starters compared to the rest of the league. All right, that's your homework assignment right now, Surveyor, due in the next 5 minutes. Surveyor says, okay, I'm not saying Murphy couldn't manage anywhere, but I believe that his tenure in Milwaukee is the main reason his strategy works. He's been there for 16 years, and in that time, while being the bench coach, who was there? Yelich, the one guy that you needed to buy into what you are delivering. Let's face it, Yelich has just as much to do with the successes as Milwaukee as Murphy. His management style needs to have the star buy in. And with the multitude of years of Murphy being that bench coach, you can tell him and Yelich have that long-time connection. I think that's a good point that you bring up, Surveyor, about the connection with Yelich and, having the player, your veteran, your star player buy in. I think that's a good one. It's still kind of, I go back to Mark Ananasio's comments when Pat Murphy was hired. And essentially, Ananasio didn't really think Murphy had a shot to get the job. Remember that? He pretty much, it kind of gave the impression that it was going to be a courtesy interview. Now, I don't know if that's just because, I hate to say it, but, age-wise, did they maybe not think, okay, he's going to be, we're going to go with a little bit of a younger route? Or they're going to try to bring in a new voice? I don't know. Or maybe he was just, and he also admitted, too, that, when Murphy was bench coach and such, they didn't have a ton of interactions. So it could have been just maybe Mark Ananasio wasn't familiar so much with Pat Murphy and his style and his managerial style and his connection to the players and that. But, yeah, I don't know. But, boy, they hit it on the head with him so far. Right? Rando, Hook is second best. What he is doing with the pitching staff is second to none. This is like, maybe to put it in comparison, well, I'll give you a couple of comparisons here. Maybe it's like that head coach in the NFL paired up with that great coordinator. Ditka, Buddy Ryan. I know they had some of their issues and such, but I'm trying to think of, great head coach and a great play caller next to him. That maybe the play caller got a little extra credit and such over the head coach. You know what I mean? Though it's like that head coach and that great coordinator, whether it's offense or defense. The other comparison is maybe like if you know your NBA, Phil Jackson and Tex Winter, triangle offense. If you want to go a little bit into the my nerdism there, that's what it kind of feels like. Pairing up Murphy and Chris Hook. Tim says, I'm not saying that some Kasper swag wouldn't be awesome to have, but I'm saying I'm going to do what I can to get a tee. That boy, Tim. I like the enthusiasm, Tim, in the Cooley region. Keep it going, bro. Keep it going. I got to get rid of some of this stuff so I can get some other stuff in. My office is overloading and such. So keep them going. Right now, we got Tim in the Cooley region and Rando. Looks like they're leading the way with some participation points. So, yeah, Chris Hook, man. We give a lot of love and attention, and rightfully so, to Pat Murphy. But you look at what Chris Hook has done with this program, with this team. It's been pretty remarkable. And remember who he replaced. He replaced Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson was a great pitching coach, too, for the Brewers. When he left to go to the Reds, to go back home, there was a lot of us Brewers fans. I was one of them. Okay, I was one of them too. Like, oh no, just why? That's such a huge loss because of what he was doing with the pitching staff. And we thought this was going to be a huge, huge, huge loss, and Brewers promoting Chris Hook. And I don't know, could say upgrade. They got it right. But Chris Hook, I mean, he played a little bit with the Giants, 95-96. Ended up with a 5-2 win-loss record, 44 strikeouts, 5.89 ERA, if you were just kind of wondering. But from 04 to 07, he was the pitching coach as well as the manager of baseball operations for the Florence Freedom of the Independent Frontier League. In 2008, he became the pitching coach for at that time, Huntsville Stars, Brewers AA affiliate. 09 and 11, he became the pitching coach for the Timber Rattlers. During the 11 and 12 season, it was announced that Hook would return to AA Huntsville once more as pitching coach. He served as the Brewers AA pitching coach through 2017, then as the Brewers roving minor league pitching coordinator in 2018. And now he was hired as the Brewers pitching coach has held that position since 2018. By all accounts, try to keep this man in Milwaukee. Keep him in Milwaukee. Here we go. Look at Surveyor coming in the clutch. Milwaukee's average age is 27.4, and the pitching staff is 27.8, while the average age of Major League Baseball on opening day was 29.3, while active lineups are 28.7, and the average age of the pitching staffs are 29.9. So, am I correct in saying, Surveyor, the average age of the pitching staff for the Brewers is 27.8, and the average age for Major League Baseball's pitching staffs are 29.9, which we're talking Brewers are 2 years younger based off average. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, 2 years isn't a lot. It actually kind of is. Rando says the Jackson Tex comparison to Murphy and Hook is dead on. Great comparison. Murphy could coach any place, but only if the star and the team leader buys in. With the way Yelich buys in, brings the rest of the team along. I think you guys are making some good points. I really do. Keep them coming, all right? Keep hitting me up. 715-830-1912 or join in on the Section 105 chat on YouTube. All right. Send me your Toys of Four to Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? Your I'm not saying, but I'm just sayings. And what you confessing? All right. What are you confessing here this morning? Let's take a break. We're going to switch gears here for a little bit. We're going to talk some Badgers with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. He's coming up after these quick words. All right, we are going to switch gears here a little bit. We got plenty more Brewers and baseball talk to get to. We'll get back to some more of your texts and comments and that, but it's time to catch up with our good buddy, Mr. RJ Cardinal, down in Madison. Happy Tuesday, RJ. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing well. Happy Tuesday to you as well.
Yeah. So, hey, as in a tradition unlike any other, after we usually talk, there's used to be, or sometimes, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, there seems to be a little bit of a Badger news or nugget that pops up, and that's what happened last week after we talked and such. And,
Right.
We'd been talking a little bit about athletic director search, kind of quiet nap, but we found out the committee. And, you got Chris Ballard on there, who is the GM of the Colts. You got Michael Finley, who's on there. You've got, some business people and such. I guess first question to you, RJ, when you look at who's on that committee to find the new AD and such, did anything really kind of jump out to you or kind of interesting, or was it pretty like, no, this is kind of a typical committee?
It's definitely a Badger-centric committee.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think internally that's a good thing. You have people who and a lot of them are in high positions in pro sports right now. That's also a good thing.
Yeah.
So they know how to. They're either player personnel, they're GMs, they're interim GMs, and things across that nature, but it's people who understand at least how athletics run. So that's good. And having at least the committee that's joining the search firm, hopefully the search firm can listen to feedback from the committee, vice versa. And I don't ultimately, neither of them are making the decision, but it's something that you look at and say, yes, I need at least a Badger's ear, listening to what's going on. So, they didn't really define the role of the committee either. So I'm not sure what they're actually going to be doing, but I think it's another step towards an athletic department who has been seen as distant from alumni and the such, that they felt the need to bring in as many alumni as they could to be able to help at least visually be in on this decision.
So the one name that wasn't on there, Barry Alvarez, which I know some people are wondering, was that kind of interesting that he wasn't included in such? In your opinion, should he have been included on this search?
Well, his last hire of his career failed miserably, so there might be a reason he's not on this committee. So I'm not surprised he's not on it. I know at least on his own radio show, he's at least said publicly he's trying to get out of that. So maybe he said no to it. I don't know. But also, if you think of it, and on that committee, he might commandeer it in itself, and not because of a personality or anything like that. You'll still have people on that committee say that's Barry Alvarez, and that might get a little distracting. Who knows? Maybe behind the scenes, somebody's still asking him questions. But I mean, his last hire failed miserably. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any involvement there. But I'm actually okay with him not being on the committee as we're searching for a new athletics director.
Does anything about the committee maybe give us any clues potentially on who they could be targeting, or is that kind of maybe just reach a little bit? Because I think we're like, okay, is it going to be a former Badger, since it is very Badger heavy on there, or is it going to be maybe somebody from completely outside? Is there any clues that you think kind of give us maybe the direction of where they're going to be looking for this new athletic director?
I don't think so. Like I said, most of these people are in a pro sports management where it really doesn't matter where you're from. It just depends on your success. So, and the search firm they're using has placed a lot of good ADs as of right now. So, having that help where a firm can identify good talent to put anywhere, that's a good addition. Maybe this committee might lean towards somebody with connections to the university, or have been like, hey, I worked with this person before, and they're not necessarily a Badger, but they have the same core values that we have at this university and can bring blah, 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 bring some sort of expertise in this field to here. So just because it's mostly all Badgers, I don't think it means they're going to be looking necessarily for a Badger to come take things over.
So this might be a stupid question, but I'm not sure. Do they have to make their interviews public, considering it's, institution and such, or could they keep it private?
That is a great question, because, there's been interviews before that on some things that you don't find out till after a hire, and it's like, oh, so-and-so also interviewed for that job. And you're like, oh, that's crazy. But one way or another, I think we find that names for interviewees get leaked or put out in public. So it's really one of we didn't know about Luke Fickell up until he was hired, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
So I don't know if AD is a different kind of position where they'll have to disclose, but I don't think so. It just needs to be publicly posted for 2 weeks before they can make the hire. So I know they said they're looking to move quickly and get somebody in by this summer. I don't know if that's before the end of the academic year here or as the academic year starts on July 1st. So, we'll see, but I'm guessing it could be one of those. Maybe a list emerges of people who were interviewed, but we might not know every person interviewed for the job.
Yeah, because it seems like it makes sense to have the AD, the new AD in place before football season, but the release said kind of by the summer, which we're little past middle of May here, so maybe kind of a quick turnaround here.
Yeah, and you almost have to, but like we've talked in the past few weeks, that's quite the challenge to bring in the AD without a permanent chancellor in place as well, because that person's job depends on the chancellor. So, and usually, you find a chancellor who is geared towards academics but understands the importance of athletics. So you'd hope that that person doesn't want to put their stamp on the athletic department as soon as they get in and just fire somebody to hire somebody, because that could end up being a bad look for Wisconsin. It's kind of like how the Bears were for a while. Draft a quarterback, a head coach has a bad year, get a new coach.
Yeah.
It's a cycle like that, where you don't necessarily know what you're stepping into, and hopefully it's not something that turns into a cycle like that.
Right. Hey, switching gears over to a little bit of hoops, because late last week, Friday, Sam Decker is joining the college coaching ranks. Lamont Parrish, a former Badger over at South Carolina. So Decker is going to become an assistant over there. My first thought was, when I first heard that, or one of my first thoughts, I should say, RJ, was, okay, when do Badgers fans start claiming for Sam Decker to be the new Badger men's head basketball coach? And because I feel like it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be another Jimmy Leonard sort of thing or whatever have you, but how do you think Sam Decker will do as a college basketball coach?
He's got enough knowledge to pass on to players, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't think he's ever held a coaching position before, but his game speaks for itself. Hopefully he's one of those who can have a good game and be able to help players develop in a system. And I like, just knowledge-wise, it's there for him. I just don't know if he's ever been on that coaching end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you don't just get thrown right into an assistant spot on a D1 program. You work your way up and things like that. But awesome for him. I saw a lot of people who were like, "Oh, you had an open spot on your staff and you didn't hire this guy." Well, they hired Brad Davison. Like, that was a year ago. And I believe Decker was still playing basketball. So kind of hard to ask a guy to just, well, I guess Brad Davison did quit basketball to become a coach, but it's still kind of hard to ask a guy to do that. And yeah, I mean, good for him. I guess, clamoring for him to become the next head coach at Wisconsin might depend on how well South Carolina does while he's there. But it'll be interesting to watch, and awesome for him. Wish him the best, except if they ever play Wisconsin. And pretty neat. But yeah, it's still one of those where you're like, oh, you were a honk for Wisconsin this whole time, and now we're not going to be getting those tweets anymore.
I know, right? Well, and then the other part I was wondering too, because of his career playing overseas, and he had talked about victory with the Badgers picking him up. I wonder, could South Carolina maybe tap into that potential with Sam Decker's experience of playing overseas and maybe help with recruiting over there?
Yeah, very well could be. He's played in a few countries over there. Probably has some connections to be able to talk to people and recruit that way. So and it's one of those. I think you do see a lot of colleges now going to that. Where the Badgers have like 2 or 3 foreign pros on their roster right now. So it'll be interesting to see how this continues to grow for college basketball, as NIL, and in terms of just guys not really being loyal anymore, and maybe having somebody who played in the pros and understands contracts is a little better than having a college athlete who is just looking for top dollar year in, year out.
Right. Yeah. Badger softball, RJ, I know their season is over with, but they did pick up a win in the tournament. They defeated Baylor, then they fell to Texas, and then they had a rematch against Baylor, and Baylor ended up getting the revenge game over there. But you look at this team, and it's such. When we look at spring sports for Wisconsin Badgers and such, would you say over the last few years, or maybe even in the future, trajectory-wise, is softball kind of the cream of the crop for Badger spring sports?
Yeah, you also have track and field in there. Mostly they're distance runners, and the field participants have been doing awesome lately. They've never really been like a sprinter kind of a school as a whole. They've had a couple of years where they've had amazing athletes there, but for the most part, it's distance and field participants. But the softball. Yvette Healy has 8 of the 10 tournament appearances since she's been here. The team had an incredible run into the Big Ten tournament, ended up, upsetting Oregon, made it to the NCAAs, like you said, went 1-2 in there, and lost a revenge game to Baylor. But it was still an awesome game to watch. The only one that wasn't was the drubbing by Texas.
Yeah.
So even I think even if they would end up being Baylor, they would have gone 2-2, because that Texas team just manhandled Wisconsin. But overall, great season. I guess I didn't realize it had been that long, but we've been talking about them for a while now, because we always used to have to go out to the Eugene regional and end up playing Oregon and some of those other West Coast teams that, have the luxury of being able to play year round, where Wisconsin usually has to go on a tour of the southern states and southern tournaments to be able to start play in late March, early April. So just awesome to see what the program has become since they started, and it's definitely one. I personally have never been to a game because a lot of their games they go into double headers, and the second game starts while I'm still at work, so it's hard to like make it to some games, and then on weekends it's not like I'm not really trying to get downtown to watch softball for multiple reasons because it's a hassle just to get there.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of good parking there. There's some things working against the softball team, but I do know people who go and go regularly, so they do get the crowds of girls going to watch softball because they're softball players and they want to be softball players at Wisconsin. So it's having that there that really helps out. And the team is filled with some pretty darn good players.
I don't know if I asked you this last week, but last question for you. Your thoughts on the expanded field for college basketball?
I mean, it's a money grab, right? They have added 8 more teams. The 2 now opening nights cover the 12, 16, whatever seeds they're going to end up being. I still think automatic bid teams shouldn't be playing in those games, but they're essentially now created to put the mid-major teams who qualify that might be questionable into those games, really, and weed them out so you can just have greater eyeballs on the TV, and it's more of a eliminating the mid-major Cinderellas from the NCAA tournament and allowing some, power conference Cinderellas that snuck in, and now Bruce Pearl's son can have a horrible team and get Auburn into the tournament. Great.
Mm-hmm,
but it's purely a money grab so they can have more games on that first 2 days of Tuesday and Wednesday. If those teams end up winning, it's going to be that's a long first weekend of 3 games in 6 days. So good luck, and hopefully it just doesn't keep expanding, because at some point, even though there's 300 and some odd teams in Division I basketball, there's plenty of teams who do not deserve to play for an NCAA championship. And it's cool. It was cool enough at 64 where, you do have the Cinderella runs and things like that. And some of those teams are good enough, at least were in a non-NIL era, where of somebody on, like, look at Miami of Isles roster. I mean, they're just gone now.
mm-hmm.
And they all are going on. I mean, one's here at Wisconsin. They're all going on to play at other schools or going, pro in whatever. It's more of a move to just not have mid-major Cinderellas.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Hey, he's RJ Cardinal, our Badger dude. Appreciate the time as always, man. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the week, Memorial Day weekend and such, and we'll catch up with you next time, buddy.
Sounds great. We'll talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. RJ Cardinal. Good stuff as always with RJ every Tuesday. Hey, let's take a quick break. We got to play a little catch up. We'll be right back after these few words. Hey, with that gorgeous weather on the horizon here with us in the Chippewa Valley, don't forget about live music happy hours on the patio every summer Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. at our good friends, the VFW Post 305. Bring your camera, take in the view, watch the resident Raptors hunt and fish, grab a drink, and enjoy some great live music performed by so many talented local musicians. VFW Post 305 will be featuring some food and drink specials, and of course, your four-legged friends are always welcome. That's every summer Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. The VFW Post 305, located on Star Avenue in Eau Claire. Spit it out, Dan. Don't forget, next month is Father's Day, one of the most important holidays of the year. Hint, hint. But they've got their special Father's Day buffet Sunday, June 21st from 7 a.m. to noon. So if you're looking to treat Dad on Father's Day, don't forget about our good friends at the VFW Post 305. So, Rando from Chippewa Falls says, Alvarez upset several fans by his reaction when the team was playing so bad. He is knowledgeable, but new blood is never a bad thing. Let me throw it out to you. So we were talking about we were talking to RJ Cardinal about this, but with the Badger committee putting together a committee to find the new athletic director, just an informal poll question I'm going to throw out there for you all. Would you include Barry Alvarez on that search committee? They did not. Would you have included Barry Alvarez? Yay or nay? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think? Let me know. Okay, let me know. I think for me, I would probably say no. Probably not. I'd probably not. I'd go in a different direction. And like RJ and Rando kind of said there too, maybe try to get some new blood into there. It's a new wave, right? So I probably wouldn't either. But what about the rest of you? All right, hit me up, 715-830-1912. Texter had asked, did I see that sports radio host Adam say that the Steelers will have more wins than the Packers this year? Adam Shine? Yeah, I saw it. I will say this. First, who knows? But Adam Shine has always been a huge Mike McCarthy backer and Aaron Rodgers backer. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. But I will say that is probably part that feeds into it. He is when Mike McCarthy was in Green Bay, I think there was a piece too that one of his final years in Green Bay, I think it was one of his preseason picks. He had the Packers win a Super Bowl, and I think he even threw in the line that they will build statues of Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. So he is definitely been a big back. Again, nothing wrong with that at all, but don't get up in arms about it. Okay, just don't. It's still weird to see Mike McCarthy, though, Aaron Rodgers wearing the same swag back on the field together. Yeah, gosh, isn't time a weird thing? Those two win a Super Bowl against the Steelers, and 16 years later, they're both on the Steelers. Life is funny sometimes, man. All right, we got to play a little catch-up here. First of all, before we do, we got a couple more texts coming in here. I don't think that I would include him. His knowledge is great, but college football has changed so much from when he was there. It's not as much about recruiting as making money and working in the portal. No on Barry. It's a new world under NIL. Personally, I don't know how Troy Vincent isn't on the top of the list for AD. maybe he is, though, sir. We don't know. I don't know if that would be something that he would be interested in moving on from the NFL. I know he has been talked about as maybe a potential replacement for Goodell as commissioner. Maybe. I would imagine Chris Ballard has a very good read on Troy Vincent since they're both involved in the NFL. But I've seen that name being floated out there as a possibility. All right, we got to take a quick break as we wrap up the third quarter. Keep your thoughts coming. I always enjoy chatting with y'all. All right, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. When it comes to quality meat in Eau Claire, there's one name that us locals trust, and that's Mike's Star Market. From hand-cut steaks and fresh ground beef to homemade brats and specialty items, everything is prepared with care and packed with flavor. Planning a cookout, maybe for Memorial Day weekend, or maybe you're just filling the freezer, or just looking for something for dinner tonight? Mike's Star Market, they've got you covered. Stop on in today and taste the difference. Mike's Star Market, your hometown butcher shop in Eau Claire. Just a few minutes left until the top of the hour here. So we'll get back to some more Brewers talk as we get set for Game 2. Game 2 of this series between the Brewers and Cubs. We've got the Miz Kid on the mound tonight. Jacob Mizorowski. Is he the best, hardest throwing starting pitcher of all time? Maybe, according to one writer at MLB.com. We'll hit that up coming up here in just a little bit. So talk about that. Jake Bauers. I want to talk a little bit more about Jake Bauers coming up here, as he kind of been an unsung hero for this team so far this year. Talk about a list of unsung heroes maybe for the Brewers. You could throw Chris Hook in there. You could maybe throw Jacob Bauers in there, Kyle Harrison, some of these relievers like an Aaron Ashby. I think there's quite a few of them for this Brewers ball club this year. So we'll talk some more Brewers coming up in the final hour of the program. Also, give me your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What in the world is grinding your gears? Okay. Also, give me a sports confession. I confess that I'm trying to think of something to give you an example. I confess I don't own a Brewers jersey. I don't know. That was kind of dumb. That was lame. But, just come on. Give me a confession. And then I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Hey, as a reminder, don't forget to sign up for the 6th annual Kasper Classic by heading to sportstalk1051.com or WAYYradio.com. Sign up your two-person team for the Classic that is happening on Friday, August 7th. It looks like we only, after I update some of the tee times here, I'll probably have to do that later today, but it looks like 10 a.m. is going to be closed up. So we still got times for the 1 p.m., and we still got times for the 7:30 if you want to golf with Surveyor Sam. Not like literally golf with Surveyor, but he'll be a part of that group. So more info again. Just head to our website, or you could go to 715store.com. Two-person team. You get a couple drink tickets. You get a lunch. You get your cart. You get your round for golf. All proceeds going to help Backyard Dreams. So a big thanks to everybody who signed up. Big thanks to our partners so far. We've got Superior Auto Body. We've got Myron Construction. We've got VFW Post 305. We've got Hy-Vee. We've got Window World. If you would be interested in partnering up or maybe being a whole sponsor or just donating a raffle prize in that, reach out and we'll talk. All right. But get your two-person team signed up before time runs out. You may think you've got time because it's May, and that's not till August, but I can tell you after I update like the 10 a.m. tee times today, it'll probably be in the single digits for that tee time. So, as soon as that one probably goes, the 1 p.m. is going to go quick too, because we have sold out every single year. So, all right. Well, coming up, shot clock's going to cut me off here in a minute. So we'll talk some more Brewers coming up in the next hour as we get set for Game 2. I want to talk a little bit more about Jacob Mizorowski, and I want to talk about some of the bullpen pitchers too. Another fantastic performance from the bullpen in last night's game. Druin, man. Brewers just have this unique bullpen right now. And Pat Murphy last night made a really good comparison of these tag team type of games that we are seeing a lot from the Brewers. So we'll touch on that here in a little bit as well. All right, last hour for your chance for participation points. If you keep the conversation going, I might send you some swag in that. So All right, quick break. We got some news updates, and we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. All right, final hour, final quarter coming your way. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us and participating, making us a part of your start here this morning. Hit us up with a message on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. You can join in on the Section 105 chats on our YouTube page. If you want, send it on over. Okay. We're going to talk some more Brewers here in a second. Okay. We are going to talk some more Brewers. I want to talk Jacob Bizarowski. He's getting a start tonight for the for the Brewers going up against the Cubs for Game 2. And I do want to talk a little bit more about Jake Bauers and the bullpen and such. This came from yesterday. This was from The Athletic. Switching gears here a little bit. But The Athletic did an NBA anonymous player poll. Okay? Where will Giannis play next season is one of the questions. As the piece begins, it says, everyone knows the NBA is a players' league, so it only made sense to save this group of anonymous poll questions for last. How might the superstar saga with the Bucks, with Milwaukee's Giannis end? Which arenas have the most passionate and most obnoxious fans? Which team would be on top of each player's hypothetical no-trade list? And how do the smartest organizations spend their money beyond player paychecks? All right. Should we dig in? Let's do this thing, shall we? So from late February to early April, their writers, the Athletics writers, fanned across the country, North America, asking players a wide array of questions. So what team? 151 votes were casted for what team will Giannis be on to begin the 2026-27 season. Drumroll. I can't do it. Here we go. Surprise, surprise. 45.7%. It wasn't even close. 45.7%. The Milwaukee Bucks. Heat came in second at 23.2. The Knicks, 16.6. Everybody else is in single digits. It says here the players are in tune with the rumor mill too, so while it's no secret that the media and fans have been fixated on Giannis' uncertain future for quite some time now, it was interesting to learn that almost half of the players who answered this one see him staying in Milwaukee. Now, this is what I was kind of curious about. When exactly was this poll taken? And as they note, it's worth noting that these answers were procured before the latest escalation with Jimmy Haslam, who has vowed to trade Giannis if he doesn't commit to a long-term contract extension. So I'd be curious to see if that changes at all. I'd be curious. But all right. Which arena has the most passionate fans? Celtics, 20.5. Knicks came in second. The Bucks do not show up on this thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Oh, they do. They're 13th. I'm sorry. But they're tied with like second to last, 1.9%. Timberwolves, 1.2%. I'm not too surprised with that. I'm not surprised. So, which arena has the most obnoxious fans? That would also be the Celtics. Honestly, those type of questions, I think if you threw that to an NFL one, you're going to get the same teams on that too. Could be Green Bay, could be Dallas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Bucks and Timberwolves actually show up on this one at 1.3. The Bucks do not show up on that list. So, what else do we got here? What's the first team on your no trade list? 120 votes were casted. Memphis ran away with it. 35.8%. 35.8%. Washington was next. Milwaukee did show up at 1.7%, which was tied with the Lakers. So, what do smartest teams spend money on beyond player contracts, player comfort, staff, facilities? 85.9%. Family experience, 7.4%. Organizational investment, fan-facing measures, 6.7%. So, the only question that we Bucks fans are probably paying attention to the most is that Giannis one. Now, again, this is just a player poll. These are players. 151 players casted their vote. They're anonymous. But I think it's kind of interesting to get it from a player's perspective that nearly half the players voted saying Giannis is going to stay in Milwaukee. Do they have an inside feel on Giannis? Inside track? I don't know. Maybe some of them do. Not all of them, probably. And honestly, probably the majority of those who voted probably don't. Probably don't. They probably don't have an inside track towards Giannis. So, all right. I want to talk some more baseball here. Let's talk some more Brewers as we get set for Game 2 between Brewers Cubs tonight. All right. Jacob Mizorowski's on the mound. A dude who has showcased in these big moments. And it's another big moment here tonight at Wrigley Field. Coming off of a win. Mizorowski's been pitching incredibly well so far in the month of May. And he's got another chance to maybe solidify himself as one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. I want to talk a little bit about him. I want to talk about the bullpen. And we'll throw in a little more Jake Bauers chat. Let's take a quick break, and we'll dive into it coming up after these quick words. Summer is almost here, and that means it's time to hit the road in something that you love. And at Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power? Looking for comfort? How about reliability? They've got it all, backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford at Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. We'll be chatting with Mr. Craig Toyson coming up on Thursday as we get set to begin the Eau Claire Express season less than a week away. And something that's new we're going to be doing this year with the Eau Claire Express, we're going to be doing some Tailgate Thursdays, all right? So if you go to, again, our website, WAYYradio.com, sportstalk1051.com, you'll see it on the homepage. You might just have to scroll down just a skosh, but you'll see the icon there for Tailgate Thursdays. All right, and that's 4 Thursdays this month, or 4 Thursdays this season, June 11th, June 16th, July 30th, and August 6th. So before those games, hang out with me for a little bit, starting at 5:30 for a little tailgate. All right, we might be doing some podcasting there, some live podcasting, some fan giveaways, some prizes, all that good stuff. Just kind of a typical little tailgate before a little baseball. So those dates again, June 11th, July 16th, July 30th, August 6th. All right, August 6th. I know we've got our Midwest Family Night also coming up here at the end of the month here too, with the magnet giveaways and such too. So that's going to be coming up on the horizon. Speaking of baseball, let's talk some more Jacob Mizorowski and bullpen stuff. Let's actually go to the bullpen because I was kind of curious. Bullpen ERA. This is from Inside the Pen. And it was updated a few hours ago with to see where every MLB's bullpen, or every MLB team's bullpen ranks. So the Brewers have, by ERA, the 6th best bullpen, 3.37 ERA, a 3.37 ERA. Texas is number 1 at a 2.99. The Dodgers 3.03. Seattle 3.06. Giants 3.30. And actually, the Brewers are tied for 5th with Boston. Boston's at a 3.372. So, just kind of a breakdown here. Aaron Ashby has pitched 29 innings so far. He's got a 2.17 ERA. DL Hall, 21 innings, a 1.69 ERA. Shane Drowan, 21, 2.57, it looks like. So, all right. I guess I thought maybe it'd be a little bit higher than that, but still top 5. Still top 5 on there. And we saw Drowan again last night come in. And I think he has carved out his role on his team that is very similar to Chad Patrick at this point. Or, yeah, I'd say that's probably the comp. And Chad Patrick's probably going to get a couple more. Odds are he's probably going to get a couple more, a few more starts, this season and such. But Drowan comes in for Sproat. By the way, I don't want to bury the headline. Sproat was solid last night. If you're looking at it, he doesn't get credited with the win. He went 4 2/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, 1 home run. Before that 5th inning, Brandon Sproat was pitching really well. But Shane Drowan comes in. He goes 4 1/3, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks. Shut them down. And so far this season, 2-1 with that 2.57 ERA, 21 innings pitched, 20 strikeouts. In the month of May, in 4 games, he has pitched a little over 9 innings, 0.96 ERA. No home runs given up. He has not given up a home run all season long. Just that 1 earned run at the beginning of May, May 4th. His last 3 games, nada. Nothing. Last night, he gave up 4 hits. Before that, none against the Padres, 1 against the Yankees, 1 against St. Louis. Another kind of unsung hero type of player. And when you look at so Shane Drone, we talk about the Kyle Harrison trade for the Brewers. You add Shane Drone out. The Brewers might have completely fleeced the Red Sox in this thing. Kyle Harrison is the one that gets talked about the most, and rightfully so. But right now, what Druin is doing and the role he has carved out and how well he has been playing, you get Harrison and you get Shane Druin for Caleb Durbin, Andrew Monasterio, and Anthony Siegler. Throw in David Hamilton, too, who is being like a bunting pro at times. Brewers really, really might have fleeced the Red Sox in this thing. And it's highlighted by those two pitchers. It's, Pat Murphy kind of used the comparison of A-ball, like a tandem start. We saw it with Logan Henderson and Chad Patrick. We saw it last night with the two youngsters. And Murphy made the point that, that kind of helps out some of the younger pitchers to do a tandem start, a piggyback start, whatever you want to call it. And I think he makes a good point about that, especially, when these younger pitchers maybe get a third time through that rotate or third time through that lineup. Where, okay, hitters, maybe onto it, a little bit more comfortable, kind of get it, adjusting a little bit. Until those younger pitchers can kind of figure out, okay, what do I got to do? How do I get that third time through that rotation? So I think, when you look at this Brewers bullpen right now and you look at who's in there, it's an interesting group because, well, if you go to Brewers.com and you look at their depth chart, they still have Chad Patrick mixed in there as a starter. But I'm going to throw him in the bullpen for this. So you've got him, you've got Aaron Ashby, you got DL Hall, and then you got Shane Druin. You throw in a little Jake Woodford who can eat multiple innings. I mean, there was one game, it was against Boston where he threw three. He threw three against Arizona, so he's capable of doing that. Grant Anderson's capable of eating a couple innings here for you too. He's probably the one that he's pitched 2 innings a couple times in each game. But you look at these guys with Ashby and they can go out there and get you 2, 3, 4 innings, a little over 4 innings if need be. They could be your openers. They can go through the first turn of the rotation if you want them to open up a game. The versatility and the ability for this bullpen, I think, is going to pay dividends, big dividends for the Brewers down the stretch. Now, hopefully they can remain healthy. Now, Jared Koenig sounds like he's coming back here soon. That'll be a nice boost to this lineup, and I think this allows them to really be patient with Quinn Priester. It seems like it's not clicking the best right now with Quinn Priester. It doesn't seem like it's injury related. It just seems like it's more command control type of related with Quinn Priester right now. So with the way everybody's kind of playing, you can be patient with Quinn Priester. You don't have to rush it. You've got options. You've got versatility within this lineup. Really, Abner Uribe and Trevor McGill are probably your 2 guys where you're only going to throw out an inning. Throw them out there for an inning. And, I don't know, those 2 can be your closers. One night it could be Uribe. One night it could be Trevor McGill. The way the Brewers have built this pitching group, starters and relievers, it keeps opposing teams on their heels. It keeps them kind of guessing. And it probably frustrates a lot of the opposing teams too. But as a Brewers fan, we got to love it. I mean, I love it. This is awesome. This is great. Let's keep it rolling. And I hope Quinn Priester eventually figures out, because dude was solid last year. I mean, 13-3 with a 3.32 ERA. Hopefully it's just a little bit of a hiccup and hopefully a great return. But if he does come back and he does get to that level that he was last year, and all things equal in that, man, it's what a group of a bunch of youngsters. And the game I didn't even mention is Brandon Woodruff when he comes back. If the Brewers are going to make a deep run, if the Brewers are going to make a deep run in the postseason and hopefully get to a World Series, and by golly, if somehow they win a World Series, it is going to be because of the pitching staff. Not just starters. It is going to be because of the whole group, starters and bullpen. It has to be this group. All the pressure is on these pitchers, even with their youth and inexperience for a lot of them. If this is a team that is going to go the distance and win, it has to be because of the pitching. It has to be this group. They have the talent to do it. I think the biggest question remaining outside of health, because that's for any team in any sport. You got to be healthy. But I think the biggest question outside of that is the consistency, because they're so young. A lot of guys may be a little inexperienced when they get to that moment. How do they handle that pressure? Last year, we saw Mizorowski and Patrick handle it chef's kiss. What about a Kyle Harrison? What about a Shane Druin? What about some of these other guys? Hey, Aaron Ashby, he's been there too. But if the Brewers get to the postseason and they're pitching like they're pitching now and they're healthy, that's a dangerous team. Yes, they are going to need some run support. No question about it. But that is a team that can limit a lot of damage from some really good offenses. And I don't think any team will want to face the Brewers pitchers in the postseason. It's got to get there first, and you got to be healthy. And that's not to dismiss anything from an offensive standpoint. Like, oh, Brewers only have to score a couple runs. Yeah, we all want more run. They're scoring runs. It's just been unconventional in terms of modern-day baseball, if you will. Let's talk more about this offense. Jake Bauers, kind of an unsung hero so far for this Brewers offense to begin the year. Should he be a regular starter as of right now, or at least in the immediate future? What do you think? Let's hit it up. Let's go through some of the numbers. We'll be right back after these quick words. Just how good has Jacob Misiorowski been as of late? Well, if you look at his 3 starts so far in the month of May, the dude is 2-0 with a 0 ERA. The one game that he probably should have, inches away maybe from getting a win there too. Didn't get the win was that Padres one, that last game. But he went 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs. So not only has he not given up any runs in his last 3 starts, he has only given up 6 total hits. He has struck out 8, 11, 10, 29 batters in his last 3 games. Every game in the month of May. Dude is pitching at a very, very high level. Can he do it again tonight against the Cubs? Well, can the offense maybe help him get some early run support too? You look at what they did last night. Christian Yelich got the scoring started off with that home run off the scoreboard, and thanks to that 4th inning by the Brewers, able to put up a crooked number fairly early in the game, and then they backed it up with 3 runs that scored in the 5th. And one of those contributors was Jake Bauers. Jake Bauers getting the start in left field yesterday, getting some more opportunities, and he said thanks to Pat Murphy and the Brewers by collecting a couple of hits, 4 RBIs, including a home run. And Jake Bauers, in his last 109 at-bats, has hit .303, and he has slugged .523. If you want to narrow it down to his last 26 ABs, his last 7 games, he is averaging .462 and slugging .846. So far overall in the season, in 139 at-bats, 7 home runs, 27 RBIs, 288, 361 on base, an OPS of an .872. With Vaughn back on the ball club now, back from injury, from when he broke his hamate opening day, Jake Bauers maybe starts at first base are going to be cut. However, in my opinion, it's still imperative that the Brewers find ways to keep Bauers in that lineup. And I think they got to sacrifice a little bit of defense and continue to put him in left field. Now, depending on pitching matchups, Bauers could still get starts at first base. And I know there's probably going to be some people say, well, put Yelich in left field and Bauers at DH. And maybe once the Brewers feel like they're in the clear with this back issue from Yelich, that could be a possibility too. But they have got to keep Bauers in this lineup. His numbers, they're probably going to come down as the season progresses. He's probably not going to continue this streak that he's on. Odds are it's not. Be awesome. But if we're playing odds, it's probably not going to happen. But right now, that's what baseball is with 162 games. It's streaks. You play the hot hand. And right now, Jake Bauers is a hot hand. And you keep playing him until that hot hand cools off a little bit. And it does come at the cost of probably not playing Garrett Mitchell a ton. But right now, I'd rather have Jake Bauers in the lineup from an offensive standpoint than Garrett Mitchell. And you look at the top 6 batters from last night's game, and you see how their numbers are stacking up. I like that lineup. Cheerio in the leadoff. He has hit .315 with an OPS of an .814 since he has been back. Turang was the only player last night to not collect a hit. I don't think anybody's worried about Turang, though. He's still hitting .280 and .874 OPS. Contreras collected a couple of hits, just continues his solid beginning of the season, .287, .745. Yelich, .297, .873. Vaughn has played really well since being back. He has hit .314 and a .928 OPS. And then you got Bauers behind him, .288 with an .872. Those are your first 6 hitters from last night. Those are their offensive numbers so far. And I get it. Some of them, not a ton of ABs. Or not as much as some of the other guys. But if those are the top 6 for the next few turns in that lineup card, I'm A-okay with that. And I think those are the 6 guys that are going to lead this offense at this point in time. And just kind of looking a little bit more, deep diving into Bowers here, okay? So if you look at team leaders, Terang, 874 OPS. Bowers is second at 872. Home runs, Bowers, number 1 at 7. Runs scored, Bryce Terang, number 1 at 37. Number 2, Jake Bowers, 27. Batting average, number 1, Bowers at 288. Contreras, number 2 at 287. RBIs, tied for first with William Contreras and Bryce Terang is Jake Bowers. Hits, Contreras 49, Bryce Terang 44, Bowers 40. But here's a key little nugget too. If you look at ABs, at-bats between Bryce Terang, Contreras, and Bowers, you're going to see a difference. So Bowers is leading in some of those categories or just maybe a couple off. Put it in this perspective. And this is not to take away from Contreras or Terang by any means. Contreras has had 171 at-bats this year. Bryce Terang has had 157 at-bats this year. Jake Bowers has had 139. So you're talking about, if we use, let's say, Contreras, take the difference between Contreras and Jake Bauer is 32 at-bats. Let's say that's 4 at-bats per game. That's like an 8-game difference. And Bowers is putting up those numbers. That's why he deserves to still be in this lineup. I want that bat in that lineup. I want him to continue to rake. Not only for, and I think when you think about Jake Bowers, you think about home runs. Powerful home runs from the left side of the plate, and he could do that. But he's also been kind of a doubles machine. He's got 10 doubles so far this year. Last year, he had 9. So you look at the numbers from last year, okay? He played 86 games for the Brewers. He has played 39 this year. He is 1 off in the runs category. He scored 28 runs last year, 27 this year. He is 3 hits off his total from last year. He is 2 total bases off from his total last year. He's already hit more doubles this year. He's already tied for home runs from last year. And he's 1 off from his total RBIs from last year. This is the type of pace he's on. Now, he's had seasons where he's had double-digit home runs. 2018 with Tampa Bay, 2019 with Cleveland, 2023 with the Yankees, 2024 with Milwaukee. But he is definitely on pace to set some career highs. And again, you look at those other numbers from his previous stops or his previous years, maybe his current numbers aren't going to hold up. Odds are they're probably not. But you take advantage of it right now while you got it. And I think that's why you keep playing him in left field, if that's the only spot open. If you're going to put Yelich in left field, put Bowers at DH. Depending on a pitching matchup, put him at first. Guy deserves to be in the lineup right now. And he has definitely been kind of an unsung hero so far for this ball club. All right, we got to take our final break, and we got some picks. We'll do some baseball picks, all that good stuff. Final call for any Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What you got? Any confessions and any I'm not saying, but I'm just sayings. Okay? hit me up with the text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or hit us up on the Section 105 chat. We'll take our final break, and we'll start to wrap things up after these quick words. All right, let's wrap up this nonsense with some picks, shall we? Let's take a look at we're going to do some baseball picks here. What do we got? Just double checking something here. Yeah, we don't have any hockey until tomorrow. Well, we might as well do game one between Cleveland and the Knickerbockers tonight. I'll go with the Knicks. I'll go with the Knicks to take game one tonight. Moving on to Major League Baseball, where we have the Braves taking on the Marlins of Miami. I am going to go with the Braves. Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Griffin Jackson the mound. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Cincinnati versus Philly. I'm gonna go with the Phillies. Cleveland at Detroit. I'm gonna go Cleveland. Mets taking on the Nationals. I'll go with the Mets. Toronto and the Yankees. I'm gonna go with Toronto. Boston, Kansas City, Rangers, Suarez, Bailey, I'll go Boston. Houston at Minnesota. I'll go Twins. I don't know why. I'm going to go Twins. Pittsburgh, St. Louis. I got to go with the Cardinals, but come on. Can the Cardinals just go away? I know. Yeah. All right. Texas, Colorado, give me the Rangers. Athletics versus the Angels. Angels got a win last night. That was kind of a dramatic finish to that game. So, but I think the Athletics come back and win. Chicago White Sox taking on the Seattle Mariners. Seattle picked up the win last night, but I'm going to go with the White Sox tonight. Dodgers, Padres. Padres got the 1-0 victory last night. I think Dodgers bounce back and get it. Giants versus the Diamondbacks. Arizona put up a 12-2 victory last night. I'm going to go Arizona again tonight. And then Brewers versus the Cubbies. Mizorowski versus Ben Brown. Brewers. With the Miz kid on the mound, the ace of the staff, I'm going to go with the Brewers to pick up the win and to take first place from the Cubbies. That's what I'm rolling with here. All right. Those are your picks for this morning. Reminder, Brewers, first pitch tonight, 6:40. You can tune in to the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, to listen. Coverage will begin about 35 minutes prior. Want to give a big thanks, big shout out to all of our partners to help bring the Brewers games to the airwaves this year. That's Whispering Pines Golf, Union Trailer Sales and Service, Red Oak Exteriors, Game Day Men's Health, Steeltown, SCS Swiderski, Service Master, Ho Chunk Gaming Nakusa, Advanced Concrete. We've got Riverside, I should say Metalcraft and Riverside Machine and Engineering, and the Real Estate Institute. So big thanks to all of our Brewers partners. As always, again, you can tune in to the Brewers game on the radio dials at 105.1 FM. 790 AM. Coming up tomorrow, reminder, we're going to be at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. So we're going to be doing the show 6A to 10A at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. If you are a active military member or a veteran, it's free breakfast tomorrow, courtesy from Hy-Vee, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. All right, we're going to be doing the show from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., but that's when breakfast will also be served. So if you got some time, stop on by and grab your free breakfast if you are a veteran or currently serving in the military. So we're going to be chatting with Ty from Slab Factory tomorrow for our bi-weekly Inside the Hobby chat. And again, if you've been kind of following, Ty has pulled that Tom Brady card that's up on auction. And I think, let me double check because I got the link. I think the auction ends on Thursday. 2 days and 10 hours. The bid's up to $200K. Holy moly. 31 bids, $200K for that one-of-one Tom Brady card. So we're going to be talking with Ty about that tomorrow. You can bet your bottom dollar. It'll be making a turn Wednesday as well. So here's your homework assignments. All right, come prepared to class tomorrow. Even though we're going to be doing the show on the road, we're still doing our normal Wednesday routine, which also, besides Inside the Hobby, includes the Hy-Vee Game Changer. What was the play? What was the player? What was the moment, move that you would consider a game changer? And then the Mike Star Market, am I wrong? All right, think about this one for the next 21 hours. Am I wrong for thinking this? Am I wrong for saying that? Sports related, sports wise. All right. Hey, if you stop by Hy-Vee tomorrow too, I'll have some swag. So Tim, Rando, not sure if you're able, but you guys win the participation or points for today. All right. I'll have some swag in that along with me tomorrow to hand out and such. So stop on by. Well, I probably won't be able to talk a whole lot because gotta do the program and such, but do a little tip of the cap, do a little, knucks, high five, handshake, whatever, but or just like point from the distance, you know what I mean? I think we're gonna be posted up where the bar is at Hy-Vee, behind that. That kind of seems to be a nice setup over there. So I think that's where we're gonna be at. But anyways, we only got a couple minutes left to the top of the hour. So big thanks to everybody who did chime in, participated. I love hearing your analysis, your points, your takes, your respectable stuff. So keep those coming every single day. All right, whether it's on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912 or on the Section 105 video chat. Keep those coming. All right, keep those coming. I do believe we'll be able to have the video stream up for tomorrow. I got some new equipment, still playing around with it. So if we don't have the video stream, don't freak out. You can still listen online and such. But I got some new stuff that I gotta try, and I just want to make sure we're on the air. That's the first thing. Video stream will be like the second or third thing we got to figure out, if you know what I mean. So all right, shot clock's gonna cut me off. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. All right. Don't forget your homework assignments. Start thinking about it right now. Am I wrongs and your game changers. Your am I wrongs, your game changers. There's some good ones out there. Heck, you can just go, is Jake Bowers. We were talking a lot about him. Is he a game changer? Might be a good pick. Mizorowski? Yeah, that's an easy one. Those are the examples. So, all right. Have a good rest of your day. We'll be at Hy-Vee tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., 10 a.m. Talk to you then.